Hello guys, today we are going to see SQL basics with a live SQL demo on SQL Server. This is a part 1 video. We'll be following with the part 2 and so on. So let's move into the topic. So in this video, we'll be covering database overview and SQL introduction, create table statement, insert statement, select statement, where clause, update statement, delete statement, order by clause. So in the overview will be provided, after which we'll follow with the syntaxes and a real-time execution. So what is a database? A database is a location where you can store data and retrieve them for various purposes or applications or websites, whatever the use case it is. Okay, so based on the use case, the database type or the database use, what type of database to be used varies. So for example, there are various types of databases like hierarchical database, network database, object oriented database, relational database, and so on. Okay, so the most widely used database is a relational database. So we are going to see relational database in this video. So what is a relational database, or otherwise called as RDBMS? This type of database stores data in tables, which is a table in representation. It's stored in rows and columns like a spreadsheet. So each row can have one or more columns to store the data. Okay, so for example, if you see this when table, so wherein it has ID, name, department, and position are the column names, but the data is different for each and every row. So each and every row represents individual data. So here the first row represents the data related to a person called Jesse, wherein the person is working in accounts and the position is manager. The same columns on the second row, the person name is Tim. He works in production and he is an assistant. So likewise, you can store a number of data for the same set of columns. So this is how an RDBMS data stores the data inside. So what is an SQL then? SQL is a structured query language. The relation between RDBMS and SQL is a language that allows you to retrieve and manipulate data stored in a relational database. So in general, RDBMS data is the place where the data is actually stored, but to access it you need an SQL. SQL has a set of instructions or commands in a proper way, using which you can retrieve and update or remove the data in the table of RDBMS. So here there are two tables: student table, subjects table. Okay, so the student table has student ID, student name, department, and subjects table has student ID, subject ID, subject name. So these two have a common column called student ID, so using which it can be combined, right? So using this combination you can find out which student has what subjects. So this is how an RDBMS table relates one table to another table. So let's move on to the syntax part. So to have a data in place, you need a table first. So first is create table. So the create table syntax is very simple one. So you need to have create table, then followed by table name, what you wanted to create, and within bracket you can have the columns list. So each and every column name has to have a data type separated by comma. So you can have n number of columns. So this is a syntax of create tables. For example, there is a student table which I have shown here. So I have three columns: student ID, student name, department, and I have mentioned the data type as varchar. Varchar is for string methods, so string data. Okay, so it has, I have limited the size as 10 for student ID. Similarly for student name, I have limited the size as 30. For department, varchar of 50, so size is limited to 50. And I have also added a constraint which is not null. So the student name and department cannot have null values in these columns. Okay, also I have added a primary key for student ID. That means the student ID cannot have duplicate values. So it has to have a unique set of values. This is for identification purpose. So now let's see how this create table statement is getting executed in the SQL. So let us open the SSMS. So now the studio has opened. I'm just connecting it. So I'm just selecting Nivas DB, which is already created. So okay, so let us create that table here. So I'm selecting new query. I have already written the statements here. Okay, so I'll just copy paste these statements in the description so that you can use it for your own execution. I'm just copy pasting from there. So let us execute the create table. So it has completed successfully. So if you refresh this, you'll be able to see the table here. See, the student table has been created. It has been created with the all the columns which we have mentioned here. So now it is ready for inserting the data. Okay, so let's see the next topic. Next topic is insert statement. So insert statement is basically for inserting the data. Okay, so here the syntax is insert into table name, followed by you have to provide the column names, in which columns you need to insert the data in a bracket, then values, and then the column values in the bracket. So you can have n number of columns as per the table, or if you want to limit your insertion, you want to insert only on specified columns also, you can do in that way. Say if the student table has 3 columns but you want to insert only 2 columns which are necessary, you can insert in that way. But all the required columns have to be inserted. Like if there are 3 columns, if there are 5 columns and 3 of them are set to have mandatory data, when inserting the data it has to have the records, otherwise it will throw unique constraint or not null constraint error. So here we have 3 columns, but we have mentioned all the 3 has to be not null, right? So we need to give all the 3 columns values here while inserting, otherwise it will throw an error. So we'll see in detail in future, but at the moment it's a normal SQL insert wherein which inserts into the student table. Okay, so this is a student table with a single record. So we'll try inserting this in the SQL. So I'm copying the insert statement from my notepad. So I have 3 insert statements. Okay, so I'm just inserting all the 3 so that we get enough values to do select statement and all the 3 are getting affected. Okay, so one by one I'm inserting. So now we have inserted all the 3 records. Okay, so I'm not showcasing it. We'll go to the next topic so that we can see the data what we have inserted. Okay, the next statement is a select statement. Select statement is basically used for viewing the data or retrieving the data. So the syntax for the select statement is very simple. Select column name separated by commas from that table name. That's all. So this is the example where it select student ID, student name, department from student. So this will give the data from the student table. Let's see how it has been executed. Again, I'm copying from the text pad which I have stored. I'm copying one by one so that you don't get a confusion. Okay, so if you notice here I have put star. The star means select all the columns off from the table. Okay, I'll execute and show, then I'll go with the actual example which is there. Okay, here I have three columns and the star has pulled out all the columns from that table and it has listed out here. So it has retrieved the data which we have inserted in the previous segment. Okay, so now I will put the column name itself, student name, department. So this also will give the same results because only those are the columns which are present in that table. So it doesn't make a difference for this table. Say for example, if you have a 50 column table, you cannot manually type all the columns, right? In that case, this star will be very much useful. Okay, so let's move on to the next one. Next is a where clause. So it is a subset of select statement wherein you have to attach it in the select statement only. Select statement or update or will show wherever it can be used, okay, in future. So now we are attaching the where clause in the select statement. So where clause is basically for a filter, so it basically filters the value. So the select statement without the where clause was returning all the records from the table. So now we will put a where condition to restrict the values, restrict the rows which are being retrieved. Okay, so what we have done in the example, we have provided the same select statement with a where clause where student id equals to 1002. So the where clause has a syntax of where column name equals to column value. If the column value is a text, you need to put it in single quotes. Okay, if it is a number, no issue, otherwise it will have impact on the results. Okay, so here I'm trying to fetch student id equals to 1002. Let's see how it retrieves. Again, I'm copying from my text pad so that we don't waste any time. So this is a where clause, the same select statement with a where clause. Okay, so here it has returned only one row which I wanted. Okay, where student id equals to 1002. So only the Tom's record has been fetched. So this is how you can work with a where clause. Okay, let's move to the next one. Next is an update statement. So the update statement is basically used for updating the values which are already inserted. Okay, so you would have inserted a wrong value or there might be a need from the application end to the for updating the database. So in that case you can use this update statement. So the update syntax is update table name, set column name equals to column value what you wanted to set, for which column you wanted to set. Okay, where column name equals to column value. So the column name 2 specifies which column you want to update. Column value 2 specifies the new value which you want to update on this column, and column name 1 specifies the unique column to identify a unique value. Okay, that means the where condition is referring to a primary key, means a unique field, unique column, so that you can uniquely identify a column to update this value. Okay, so just put a pointer so that it's visible. So this specifies the new value, this specifies the column where you wanted to update, and this specifies the identifier. So column 1 is an identifier, column 2 is the update, is the place where you wanted to update, and this is a new value, and column 1's value is the unique identifier to identify the record where you wanted to update. So I think it's clear now. So this is just example wherein I am updating student table. I'm setting department name equals to computer science where student id equals to 1002, and I have also added a AND condition where student name equals to Tom. So you can add more conditions on where clause, okay, using AND operator. So this will ensure that you get a unique record for the update statement. So the select statement doesn't have much of an impact. You can add AND statements or you can add more clauses as and when required, but an update statement is highly uh, issue. Okay, so once you update you cannot revert it back, so it's better to have a proper record for updating. Okay, so you need to uniquely identify the record what you wanted to update. Otherwise, this will update the entire table. So if this where clause is not there, this update and this set command will update the entire table with this value, which is wrong. Okay, so that's why the where clause is attached in the update statement. But where clause doesn't need a, sorry, the update statement doesn't need a where clause for. Okay, so let's see the execution here. Again, I'm copying from the my textpad. I'll put this in the description. I'm again saying that, okay, so that you guys can use it. So I'm selecting it before I update so that you can see the difference. So here there are two records which are accounts. So I'm going to update this 1000, which is Tom's record. Okay, let's see the update of let's see the table after the update. It's updated. Okay, one row affected. So now if we see this, it should have changed. Yes, so 1002 is updated with computer science, and I have mentioned Tom as student name. So these two conditions are true, that's why it has updated the department. Okay, so this is how you update a table. So let's go to the next one. Next is a delete statement. So it's similar to the update statement, only the difference is you need to have delete instead of update. The same thing, but the set operator doesn't come, the set command doesn't come here. So here delete table name where column name equals to column value. Here column 1 specifies the unique identifier. Okay, uniquely identifying column and its value, so that you delete individually on a table. Otherwise this also will delete the entire record of the tables. Okay, all the records of the table. So here I have given an example: delete student where student ID equals to 1001 and student name equals to Jerry. So let's see how it deletes. Okay, so it's the same syntax. So here also where condition is required. So delete student where student ID equals to 1001. If this student ID is uniquely identifiable, then you don't need a second statement here like this. So we'll see the execution. So I'm just copying from my textpad. So now we have three records already, we just now selected. Okay, so I'm deleting 1001. Okay, so it's a physical delete, so you won't be able to see the data after deleting. Okay, so I'm again selecting. Now 1001, that record, Jerry's record, is totally removed, so you can't retrieve it anymore since you have deleted it. Okay, now let's, but be careful with update and delete statements, and just see the statements thoroughly before executing it. Okay, because few databases doesn't have the commit statement. For SQL Server you don't need a commit statement, it is by default with commit. I'll explain commit and all in the later videos. Okay, at the moment you say, you treat it like once you execute there is no chance of retrieval again. Okay, so if you wrongly delete or update something, it is permanent, it cannot be rolled back. Next one is a order by clause. So order by clause is usually attached with the select statement. Okay, so the syntax is the same select statement. Along with that you will have order by column name, and you can have two flavors in this, so which is ascending or descending. So these are the options for the order by clause. So for example, I'm selecting the student table, I'm ordering it by student ID on a descending order. So it's just a sorting mechanism, so you can just give this so that it gives a sorted output. Okay, let's see the execution. So I'm executing the order by clause. So I have executed, but there is no difference because I have used ascending. So since it was already in ascending order, it doesn't make a difference while retrieval. So I'm now changed and have changed it to descending. So let's see the order. So now 1003 comes on top, Mike's record, and Tom's record has gone down. So that means it has sorted now. Okay, so the order by clause has worked correctly. Okay, so this is how you use a order by clause. So that's all guys for this video. Let's catch up in another video. I'll try putting the next sequential video for this basics of SQL. Thanks for watching. If you like the video, please like and subscribe for more videos. Thank you.